issue now that Andrew Cuomo is bringing up in New York is that he is a Ugandan citizen. Uganda is a country where they kill homosexuals.
So somebody who is a dual citizen can't be mayor of New York, or?
I would renounce, if I was the dual citizen with a country whose policy, government policy, was we kill homosexuals, yeah, I would renounce that citizenship. Yeah. I don't, and to not to, and. And he also,
I think that is buying into a fear. I think that is buying into a fear framework that is not good. It's not good for the country. It's not good for the country.
You shouldn't be afraid.
Bill Maher has officially hit the gas, locking his sights on newly elected Mayor Zoran Mandani, and the tension is impossible to miss long. Before Mandani ever got the keys to City Hall, Maher was already sounding the alarm warning that this could turn into a strategic disaster for New York now that the election is over. He's done holding back with his trademark. What Maher is tearing apart the logic behind Mandani's radical agenda, piece by piece. This isn't just criticism, it's a full-speed breakdown of a city government racing straight into unfamiliar ideological territory.
Right? The Republicans are not that, democracy is just not number one on their list. It just isn't. It isn't. It's behind Christianity and a few other things. And the Democrats, I mean, I read these, 74% are for democratic socialism. Only 16% favor capitalism. Is this going to be a country that I don't recognize in 5 to 10 years if we don't have these two pillars?
First, it's worth challenging Maher's claim that certain political groups don't care about free speech or democratic values. That argument doesn't really survive close inspection. In reality, it's often centrists who are on the front lines defending free expression and pushing back against efforts to silence opposing views. They're the ones fighting to keep open debate alive, that said Maher's concerns about Mayor Mandani and his socialist-leaning platform are hard to ignore. Mandani's vision clearly moves New York.
This is not just New York that's on the ballot. I think the whole Democratic Party in the country is on the ballot, and the whole country will be looking at this race to see which way are the Democrats going to go. Where are the Democrats going with this? If Mandani is the face of the Democrats on the East Coast and Katie Porter is the face on the West Coast, I don't know if that's great politically for that.
Despite what some claim, things are far from smooth for the political establishment. Letting rigid ideologues steer a major party isn't a winning strategy, it's a recipe for collapsing. In recent years, we've seen a steady drift toward identity politics and hardline agendas that feel more disconnected from everyday voters than ever. By chasing symbolism instead of results, leadership has pushed away moderates and independents who actually decide elections. Voters aren't looking for purity tests, they want stability, competence.
It is a walking commercial for the Republican Party nationally. I think the Republicans are going to... When you let the Democrats, socialists, and now they're actually calling themselves socialists, when you let them take over a major American city, this is what you get. The state-run grocery stores, which work so well in Cuba and the Soviet Union and Venezuela. New York is New York. It's definitely it's the media capital, the financial capital. It is a bellwether like no other city is in this country. So don't tell me that who the mayor of New York is doesn't matter.
Maher doesn't spare anyone as he criticizes the party for rallying behind Mandani to him. This move is a massive miscalculation that could hand future elections to the opposition on a silver platter. Mandani's far-left platform makes him an easy target, and opponents won't have to work hard to exploit. His most extreme proposals for Maher goes beyond campaign strategy.
He definitely has the power and influence to elect J.D. Vance or whoever is the Republican candidate next time. It is a walking commercial for the Republican Party.
Socialism, to put it simply, just doesn't work and has never worked. We've run this experiment many times, and the results are always obvious. It turned one of Latin America's richest countries into one of its poorest. Low wages, high inflation, shortages, outages, 8 million people fleeing. If you think New York can somehow reinvent this wheel, you're in for a rude awakening.
On paper, the promise of total equality and government-run services for everyone sounds appealing, but when the state starts managing things like grocery stores or housing, reality usually hits hard. Centralized systems struggle to keep up, leading to shortages, inefficiency, and public frustration. Innovation dries up, and everyday people pay the price for ideas that look great in theory, but fall apart in practice. History is packed with these warnings, yet some leaders seem determined to ignore them the result policies that sound compassionate, but often create chaos.
Who's the most popular politician on the left?
AOC? I don't know.
One of, but who's, Bernie is,
yeah.
Bernie is, I mean, he's not a capitalist,
No, he's not. And he's also not president.
He's not, but
never would be.
But neither is Mamdani.
No, but he will, trust me, he will be featured in the campaign commercials.
But they're going to feature people, they boogeyman everybody.
Yeah, but you don't have to boogeyman him. He does it to himself.
But they'll do it regardless. Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, but
they make anybody into boogeyman.
It has.
I think it was
just have more weight when it's real.
Maher argues the opposition won't even need to invent a tax to beat Mandani. In his view, Mandani's own policies will do the job. There's no need for exaggeration. When the proposals speak for themselves, aggressive tax hikes and massive state-run programs are exactly what scare voters who value economic freedom. While these ideas may excite a small base, they risk alienating the majority of moderates. In effect, Mandani's agenda creates its own resistance. Maher sees this strategy as a political...
The guy running in New York, Mandani, right? Okay, who's like a straight-up communist. I mean, he is. He talks about, the things that communists say. I mean, he wants free grocery stores, free buses.
I want him to win.
You want him to win?
Yeah. I think every 20 years or so...
Wait.
We need every 20 years or so, we need a conspicuous, confined experiment with socialism so we can crack it up again. Socialist slogan used to be, workers of the world unite, you have nothing to lose but your chains. The new socialist slogan is, trust us, this time it won't be a mess.
Now the default defense seems to be a simple request for trust, with the promise that this time these radical experiments will magically work. Mandani insists past failures don't apply to him because he's smarter or more disciplined than those before him. It's a familiar tune we've heard many times from confident leaders. The problem isn't bad intentions, it's the broken incentives and massive bureaucracy these systems always create, asking New Yorkers to believe he solved a puzzle that has baffled the...
When the post-war Labour government in Britain was about to get started, one of their leading lights was a socialist named Nurian Bevan. He said, what could go wrong? He said, we have a nation bedded on coal, surrounded by fish. It would take an organizational genius to have a shortage of either. In 3 years, they had a shortage of both. That's social.
Maher is right to point out how centralized systems almost always follow the same pattern. Instead of prosperity, they produce waste mismanagement and public anger. When government controls distribution decision-making slows to a crawl under layers of red tape, the promised equality rarely shows up. Instead, power and resources concentrate in the hands of a small political elite. While everyone else deals with shortages, quality declines.
Do you think that Mamdani's election will lead more financial organizations to leave New York City for Wall Street South in Florida? Tell me, I've read that term just recently, Wall Street South, Florida. This is your state. What is that?
A lot of Wall Street guys have moved to Palm Beach. It's been happening really since COVID. It's accelerated with increases in taxes. It's not just out of New York. It's New Jersey, Connecticut, it's Chicago, it's California.
So they're fleeing high tax blue states for Florida.
Maher is also raising a serious alarm about the growing exodus from blue states to red ones. And it's not just about politics. People are fleeing soaring living costs, and an increasing sense of instability, high crime, and weak public safety are driving families to look for safer communities at the same time. Major companies are leaving cities like New York, where heavy taxes and strict regulations...
This is the luckiest guy in the world that Mandani got elected, because his district is going to explode. My house, I live 8 miles outside of Queens, has gone up 20% in value since Mandani announced, okay?
Because
people aren't going to pay the punishing taxes. New York is the highest tax state in the union.
But you said your house value's gone up.
Yeah, because they're moving to Nassau County.
Oh, they're moving out of the city.
Out of the city, and they can still take the train back in the city and not pay the millionaire's tax or whatever crazy thing this guy wants.
In the end, Maher's warning cuts straight through the noise. This isn't personal, it's about consequences. When ideology replaces common sense voters. And businesses don't hang around to argue, they pack up and leave the flirtation with radical policies risks speeding up that exit high taxes and the familiar promise of trust us, it'll work this time. Have a terrible historical track record. Maher sees the danger clearly by pushing these ideas. The party isn't winning the middle, it's driving them away. And if leadership refuses to adjust, they may